So I was asked to do this video about boundaries, about setting and maintaining healthy boundaries, boundaries that allow you to be empowered and happy and to create what you want to create in your world. And I was really happy to do this because I get kind of upset because there's a lot of stuff out there about boundaries that's really wrong and unhelpful. That's the most thing. It's really, some of the beliefs about boundaries are really unhelpful, and they're ultimately disempowering. So before I can kind of explain that, I want to back up a little bit and talk about personal power. So you have personal power, and our world is just cluttered with really ridiculous misuses and abuses of power. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about your personal power, your power to create in your world, your power to bring dreams to life, your power to be who you are and to not conform to other people's expectations of you. So this is a very positive and beneficial and healthy kind of power. So people like Martin Luther King, people like Mother Teresa, heck, even people like Oprah, they're not more powerful than you. They don't have more power than you. They're using their power effectively. They're holding their power and channeling it into what they want to create in the world. And when you do that, it's such an inspiring thing that people are inspired, people are motivated, people join the cause, and huge, amazing things can happen from that, from really claiming or owning your power and then channeling it towards what feels like your own soul purpose. So, of course, I believe that that's what all dreaming is. Anytime you have a dream and move towards it, that's what you're doing on some level. And the more you work with this, the bigger and bigger the amount of power you can hold and channel, and so you can create bigger changes out in the world. But your power is your power. You don't have power over other people. You don't have power over the universe. And that's where people get very confused about power. So if you imagine yourself and your life, those are the only places where you have power, but you have ultimate power. You have complete power over yourself and what you're going to create in your world. Right, so you have complete power there. When you try to have power over outside situations, and we do this all the time in many ways, just wanting people to be different than how they are. When you do that, you are leaking your power because you're trying to work outside of your sphere. So as soon as you move outside of your power center, you leak your own power. You can't change other people or the outside world anyway. What happens is that you're not present in your own world, and so your power isn't present in your own world. And so you end up leaking that power. Now, power leaks aren't dangerous. Like once your power leaks out of your space, it's just like, it's not like someone else can pick it up and have more power. We all have all the power we need, so nobody does that. But it means that that power is not available for you to use. So boundaries is the way of working with this, of claiming your power and choosing where you're going to aim it at. All right, so I'm going to try to illustrate that with a little story. So let's imagine that you've decided that you never want to have another cupcake. Right? And you can have whatever reason you want to have for that, if it's the sugar or if it's just the cupcakes make you angry. It doesn't matter why. You get to choose whatever you want to choose. So you've chosen to never, ever have another cupcake. So that's your boundary that you've set. So you're owning your power and you're channeling it towards the never having of cupcakes. So if someone comes up to you and offers you a cupcake, what happens? Right? Often we'll get angry. So the reason why I was even asked to do this video is because I wrote the other day about how I was noticing, wow, I get upset when people offer me cupcakes, even though I haven't even told them that I don't want cupcakes. So I'm frustrated that people aren't reading my mind better. Wow, that is a power leak. So my job with, or your job with the boundary of the cupcake isn't to make sure no one ever offers you a cupcake. Your job is to hold your, oh, I'm not having a cupcake, I'm not getting upset about it. I'm really clear, no thank you. If this person is a very close person in your life, and if they're continually offering you cupcakes, then in order to hold your power, you can do other things. You can talk to them about how you don't want cupcakes. You can explain or not. Often explaining why you're holding a boundary or creating a boundary, often explaining is another power leak. Explaining is like you're trying to justify because deep down somewhere you don't actually believe that you have the right to create your own boundary about anything you want. So I would, in most cases, I would say don't explain unless it feels somehow important and unless you feel empowered in explaining. But if you really explore that, I doubt you feel empowered by it. There's so much that comes up in response to this. So why do you have someone who's really close in your life who can't respect your wishes? What's the problem with this person and the cupcakes? Why do they want you to have them so much? Why do they want to control what you're doing? Right? The only one who decides if you eat a cupcake or not is you. So you've made that decision and you've let them know. So all of these different power dynamics come into play in what happens next. All right, so often in the kind of like some of the sort of new age law of attraction teachings, people will say that if you set a really clear boundaries, like an internal intention for yourself, so you're like umming your way and you're like, I'm never gonna have another cupcake, no cupcakes will even come near me, no one will ever offer me a cupcake. And the belief being that if you're so clear in your intention and so clear in your energetic boundary that no one would ever offer you a cupcake. That's an energy leak. That is a huge energy leak because you're going back into trying to control the outer world. People are going to offer you cupcakes. That's not your part. Your part is how are you going to respond when they do? And if every time someone offers you a cupcake, is it going to upset your balance? Then where's your power in that? What are you doing with it? Where are you leaking it? Because I promise you're strong enough and powerful enough to choose what you are and are not going to do. And you do not need to get swept aside every time someone wants you to do something different. So what happens is that you set the boundary, you decide for yourself, I'm never having another cupcake. You tell the people close to you, hey, keep cupcakes away from me. I'm never having another cupcake. And what a lot of us do is give responsibility for that boundary to the other people. I don't want you to bring cupcakes into this house. It's really important to me that I don't have cupcakes, so you have to make sure to never bring them into our home. That's really different than me just saying, I'm not going to have cupcakes. Right? Again, all of your power is in you and your behavior and your actions and what you're creating in your world. You have no power over whether or not someone's going to bring cupcakes into your home, and no matter how much they love you, they may forget because the cupcake thing is your thing, it's not their thing. So as soon as you make it someone else's responsibility to hold your boundary, that's a huge power leak. It's just gone. And this is classic codependency. This is, I need you to behave in a certain way so that I can feel okay. And what happens is everybody is unempowered in that situation. There's power leaking everywhere, and nobody has the power to just stand up, be who they are, and create what they want to create in their world, because everyone's just leaking it all over the place. So your boundaries are your job to maintain. And the more you are claiming your own power, the more you're clear with yourself about where you're directing your power, the easier it is. You just say, oh, that's a nice cupcake. No thanks, I don't want it. And then you carry on. Right? But often, especially at the beginning stages of setting boundaries, people can get really tripped up every time someone comes up and offers them a cupcake. And that's a sign that there's a power leak there for you, and there's something for you to work on there. Right? Because you can never, it doesn't matter how clear you are in your boundaries, you can never stop the entire world from ever offering you a cupcake. The power to hold the boundary has to come from inside of you. So the really good news is that it gets easier. That the more you hold your boundaries, the better you get at, or the more experience you have at like claiming your power, holding the boundary. No matter what other people are doing, you are choosing your behaviors and your actions. It's harder in the beginning and it gets easier over time. Over time, it becomes ridiculous to think, oh, like just because so and so wants me to have a cupcake doesn't mean I'm going to have a cupcake. That's crazy. I make my choices. But it's crazy how many different ways and how many different scenarios we do this every day. We give our power away by not holding our own choices. All right, so this is one of the many ways that we leak our power. Now, I remember what I said in the beginning. You have the same amount of power as Oprah Winfrey. You can create the kind of thing that she's created. You have the same amount of power. It's just, what are you doing with it? Are you just leaking it out? Or are you holding it and directing it? So your relationship with power, I think, is just such a fascinating thing. It's such a foundational thing for being able to bring any dream to life. Any kind of creative project at all, or any kind of positive life change, relies on you holding and channeling your power. And once you get used to doing that, I mean, it's an energy thing. It's not an effort thing. It's not something you have to constantly work at and be like, okay, I'm holding my power. It's easy because ease is one of the qualities of spirit. Power, and I can't get into all of this because this goes very, very long, but this is what we're doing in the superpower class. Power is a supportive quality. It activates all qualities of spirit, so all the qualities of your soul, which are the qualities of your dream, which are how you bring your dream to life. So it's bringing more of those qualities into your life. That's creativity, abundance, radiance, joy, freedom, growing, learning, wisdom, healing, all of these things. Power activates these qualities to help you bring them to life. So working on your relationship with power is one of those foundational things that shifts everything in your life. It shifts possibilities. It shifts what dreams feel possible for you. It shifts how easy it is to bring dreams to life. It shifts how easy it is to create positive change. It shifts how easy it is for you to just stop eating cupcakes. So it's a pretty amazing thing. So I hope you're thinking about joining us. We're going to do a deep energy alchemy, energy healing on your relationship with power. We do that on the phone, or you get the recording, so it's an audio that you can work through. And then we have a forum also for exploring this. After the energy healing, you get a playbook full of more energy alchemy exercises, journaling exercises, and mandalas to color and activate that help you stay in the new relationship. So basically the healing session part of the class shifts your relationship with power, and then the playbook helps you settle into that new relationship and that new way of being, where you can show up more powerfully in your life, and where it becomes easier for you to make choices and to hold those choices no matter what the outside world is telling you to do. You know, your dreams are always calling you towards your authenticity, towards your soul purpose, towards being who you are. We have these crazy ideas that dreams are these things that only some people get to have. But your dream is your soul calling you towards yourself. Right? None of us were meant to live a life where we just conform to what society wants us to do. We're all meant to live an authentic and alive life where we're really engaged with the things that we're doing. And it takes power to break out of doing what people are telling you to do and to break into having your own creative freedom. So I'm really looking forward to this class on Friday, and I hope to see you there.